Hello, my name's Bryony and I'm going to teach you how to make some nice things out of coloured paper or white paper, whatever paper you've got, some nice snowflakes with hearts in them or whatever shape you'd like to do, but I'm going for hearts today, so I've done some different coloured ones here. And I've got a few stuck in our front window at the moment, and I'm going for a few more for our front door. I'm going to practice with some white paper. I had sheets of A4 which I folded down. You've probably done it before, where if you've only got rectangular paper, if you fold the corner down and then cut, you end up left with a square. So I did that for some white squares so that I could show you. But I've also used a memo block before of coloured square paper. And I've got some other coloured paper I've had a play with before. Right, first thing you do with your square of paper is fold it in half from corner to corner. So you end up with a triangle. You then want to do the same again without unfolding it, so that you have half that size triangle. Now from school you will hopefully remember this is a right angled triangle. The right angled bit here is the bit that you need to keep, so do not snip any bit of this off. This is the bit that people find a little bit harder. We are basically going to take this triangle and fold it into 3 triangles, which if we were to crease it out would look like that. And the way we're going to do that is we are folding, hold on to that right angle, we are folding one towards the other way and the other opposite. Another way of explaining it, possibly I've thought about, is it's a little bit like when you make a cone, except that when you get to that point at the cone point where they're exactly they're exactly the same sort of, or around about the same, it doesn't have to be perfect, size each, that's when you can crease it a bit more and flatten it. So I've flattened it like that. So if I show you again, it's basically one folded up, the next folded up, and then you end up with something looking like that. And the side that's towards me has got a flat edge across here. So if I show you the one that I drew on, one folded in, the other folded across. Okay, and this was the right angle that I'd held on to. Okay, now the bit here that you then next have to do is where you see a straight line on one side of it, you take your scissors and you snip that off. You snip the triangles, the bits, the ears if you like, if you think of it looking a bit like a pointy nosed fox. So you end up left with a pointy triangle. Now to make whatever your snowflake, however you want it to turn out, like you're going to cut into the edges. I usually prefer to cut something off the middle because I quite like a hole in the middle. I'm going to cut a little bit of triangle off on this one. And the way to make hearts particularly is basically if you can cut in to one side, so I've only cut from one side and I'm not going all the way across. If I cut half a heart, so if I show you just before the last snip, there, and that's what it looks like when I've cut that half heart off. Okay, and the bits that have fallen out, that I've cut out, if I unfold them, they look like hearts like that. You can alternate cutting hearts up each way. I'm going to do a skinnier heart this time with this narrower one. So now I've got a more pointy heart cut is going to happen on this side. And actually, I've still got quite a lot of paper here, so I think I'm going to go for another one on this side. You can do it just one, and it still looks very effective. I've had a play with all sorts of different ones. I could leave the top as it is, but I don't really like it like that. I prefer to have a bit of a different edge. I'm going to actually follow the curved top of the 2 higher up hearts there. So that's what I've cut now. So that was just a triangle. So that, but with the ears off. And then I've cut a snip off the bottom and I cut some half hearts off. And here's where the magic happens when you open it up. So see what you've got. I'm never 100% sure what I'm going to get until it's open. There you go. I have lots of hearts, 3 different size hearts, because I cut 3 half hearts, and because of the way I cut my zigzag and obviously wasn't exactly folded perfectly in the middle, I'd expect there to be 2 more points on this star in the middle, but I obviously didn't fold it quite tight enough. So yeah, you get variations depending what you do. I think I only cut 1 heart on that one, but then followed the pattern above it. So have a play, see what you can come up with and what you can do with it. Another thing you could do to make pretty heart decorations is a heart paper chain. For this, you do need more than paper and scissors, but not a huge amount more. You're going to need paper that's just strips of paper. It's about a couple of centimetres wide. And you need preferably a stapler. I've got a diddy little one, but sellotape, sticky tape of some sort will work. So this is what you need to do. Right, this is something that helps if you want a hook to hang it off something at the beginning. I've just got 1 extra piece that I'm going to have to start with. In fact, I'm just going to leave it as a stick. I'm going to use bright colours this time. And because this is my starting one, this pink one, you don't have to have a 3rd one if you don't want to. I have discovered I want something to pin it up with at the beginning, that's all. But if you take 2 or the 3rd, if you want that extra pinning one, strips, and put them together and just staple them, you just curve the 2 round, and that would make a heart. Okay, yeah, you can see that. So I'm not going to have just 1 heart hanging though, I want a whole line of them. So to get the next one on, I get my next 2 strips. I've decided I'm going to have a play with doing the rainbow one. And I put 1 either side. I haven't done any stapling or sealing at the bottom yet. 1 either side, so there's 1 on this side and 1 on this side. And so this heart's got little arms. Now, where my finger and thumb is here on this hand, that's where I'm going to put a staple. And I'm going to show you that it will actually work with some tape if that's all you've got, because not everybody's got a stapler at home. Though it does need to go a little bit on each side. I did that one a bit short, because that's holding all 4 pieces together. Now, my orange is now ready to do the next heart. So I will pull them down. You can see that's going to be the next heart, and because I'm doing a rainbow, I've got yellow next. So I'm going to have 1 each side of my orange base of that orange heart. So like that, or like that, depending which way you want to see it. And I'm going to be stapling it where my fingers are, or taping it if that's what you've got. And I'm bending round again. And so on. And you can create your chain however long you want. I have just discovered the tape hasn't worked quite so well on that. Sellotape sort of works, but I think it is preferable if you've got a stapler to do that. My red heart started having a life of its own and coming out. It might have been better, actually. Another thought is to have a blob of glue between the middle 2 ones so that they don't slip out, because obviously the tape is on one pair but not the other pair. So a stapler is probably best, but glue and tape would work just as well. Tape just about does it on its own, but you might have to watch out for escapees. So if I do 1 more, so at the moment I've got red, orange and a yellow. I've got some green. 1 either side. 1, 2. So they're like that. Okay. Going to put a staple in. I have sometimes found as well that I need to put extra staples if I'm not too happy about the size of them, or they don't seem to be sitting right. There you go, look. So at the moment I've got 3 complete ones. My green one's not yet stapled because it's waiting for, I've got blue to go on next. But as you can see, carry on going, and I'm going to have a rainbow paper chain.